I've seen this in the field, and it's all about maintaining compliance or becoming more compliance at a lower cost, and a more predictive way that allows you to lower cost in your operations. So,
Yeah.
well, you can't get more simple than that.
Yeah.
And the state of the art of what Liquisens is being able to do is driving that forward. Um, Being able to do it faster and have those real time results. So, period. That's it.
But lab sampling and UV vis, I mean, they wear the backbone a little bit of this monitoring, but what are their limitations?
Well, lab has been around for a long time. UV
Yeah.
vis, quite frankly, is somewhat new. It's really only been out there truly as a more precise type of technology for the last 5 years or so. It's been evolving towards that by using UV, but just a single wavelength in measuring organics, but it was very imprecise. The technology that came out with UV-Vis became a little bit more precise, but there definitely are limitations. So laboratory, for sure, there's limitations. Yes, you do get a result for BOD
Mhm.
and COD, but you're subject to human error. So you could measure BOD or COD in a laboratory and then have a second laboratory do the same measurement that's only 100 meters away, and they're going to come up with a different result. There's error. There's error there, and it's delayed. COD, 4 hours to 24 hours before you even get the data in a manager's hands. BOD, 5 days. Legionella, 2 weeks, so
Mhm.
on and so forth. But you go into the online instrumentation that's designed to measure BOD and COD, you're very unidimensional in a single point, and you're relying on the absorbance levels of organics in the water. And the real issue there is that the quality of the water has to be such that the UV or the visible light can get through to be able to measure those organics. Number one. So you can't use that type of technology in a lot of areas of wastewater treatment if the water quality is too poor. You can't get the light through. Secondly, there's a lot of substances in wastewater that don't absorb light, alcohols, sugars. So it's very limiting. So it's very unidimensional. So what we're doing is we're advancing that to the next level, and we're going multidimensional in that we are taking everything that's existing in a plant that's already installed, everything from pH to conductivity to
The existing sensors, they will stay and you are going to use them
the exist
with them?
integrate the data from those existing sensors for water quality, but we also then integrate data from process. So everything from shutting and opening of valves in a cleaning in place process to the use of heating or cooling water in the process of stainless steel making to other things as well. External data could be weather. And all of this goes in through our data engine to produce a multi-dimensional model that outputs through training and machine learning, outputs a very precise, highly accurate reading of real-time BOD or COD or other parameters. We're looking at nitrate, looking at phosphate and things like this, but it outputs a real-time correlation, if you want to call it that, of the BOD and COD levels. But even better, that we can, because we're using these proxy parameters, there's a lot of instances now, and we're beginning to really refine this as we can do this in advance as well. You're going to have advanced indicators that if something goes wrong in a certain indicator, let's just say pH, it's really simple. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's what it would be, but an advanced indicator that indicates that, uh-oh, you're going to have a problem with COD in 2 hours. So this is where the predictive really comes in, and
It's a
it's
kind of
game
early
changing.
warning, right? It's a early
Early warning.
warning system.
It's a
Can you use
layer.
that?
It's an early warning layer on top of existing instrumentation. I'm not. I'm not saying that we're replacing existing instrumentation. We're just using all of this data, this massive amounts of data, to in a usable fashion to give that early warning system to add another layer.
Have you seen or can you describe a situation what would have happened, let's say, if someone would stick to the lab method compared to, to go with the Liquisens, especially in terms of compliance risks?
Well, I can tell you exactly. I can give you a real case example that we're still working with this customer. I can't say where or who it is, but we're working with a customer in the dairy industry. And I actually visited the plant this summer, and it was mind blowing to me because first of all, they had a wastewater treatment plant in this dairy. They made cheese, and there was a beautiful stream next door. Right, they actually discharged into the stream, and I looked at it, and it's like I asked the plant manager, so are there trout there? You know, because I'm a trout fisherman. I love fly fishing. That's perfect river for fly fishing. Anyway, so are there trout? He says, well, unfortunately, we had a little problem. And I said, well, what was the problem? He said, well, we had a little pollution event last year, and the fish started dying. And I said, oh, you had so fish kill? I asked him, so what happened? He said, well, we had a discharge that we didn't know about, and it killed all the fish. And I said, well, what happened? I said, well, we got fined. We got fined over 50,000 euros for doing this. I said, so what was it exactly? So well, it was COD. You know, we have a limit of 200 milligrams a liter, and we discharge probably somewhere in the 3,000 to 5,000 range because we just had a release, and we got fined. I said, so what do you do now? And he says, well, we take lab samples. I said, well, so what does that give you? And he says, well, we have an internal lab, but it's about a 2-hour drive away from here. So we normally take lab samples for a couple of days, and then we send those lab samples every couple of days to the lab to get measured. And I said, oh, okay, so 2 days plus a day to measure, get you the data back. That's like, oh, I had a COD problem 3 days ago. He says, yeah, I know it's not ideal, but at least we know now. But when push comes to shove, they actually have all of the instrumentation there right now that could
Yeah.
allow us to give them a real-time estimation of what the COD levels are, or BOD, or whatever they might be looking for, that would give them an early warning saying, I've got a problem. And the best part about our technology is not only are we going to be able to tell them, hey, you've got a problem, we could tell them why, because we're
Mm.
using proxy parameters. We're using the proxy parameters, and the high spike in COD could be, we're generally going to know that if it's due to XYZ parameters. So we have one case in a pig slaughtery in Holland where we detected a spike in COD, and it was 81% of the spike was due to an elevated pH in the aeration basin number 3. And that gives great visibility to these plants, so they can avoid the exceedances by
Mhm.
taking action right away because we alert it. And then the second part is that because they're avoiding this exceedance, well, first of all, they're going to save money because if they got caught, they're not going to have uh, the fine, but they can also take action in their process. Or we can allow them also by this real-time information, help them understand that maybe they might not need to add as much energy into their process in a certain time.
Can we talk a minute about, so how does it really work? I'm the operator of a cheese plant, of a dairy plant,
Mhm.
right? So what is it what I have to have, or let's say other way around, what is it what you bring with that we can get the process started?
First of all, we ask for a data set, um, and every plant is going to have every different type of operation. Every plant, whether it be a cheese plant, a metal foundry, a soft drink maker, they're going to have different data sets. And so we're going to clean the data. We're going to go back and forth with the customer to make sure that the relevance is there. In fact, my partner Steven is at a customer right now reviewing the first effort of data cleaning, and we've identified, actually, out of the 400 data points that we were provided every minute for the last 3 years, out of that data, we've identified 8 critical parameters, pieces of data over that time that have a high influence on Legionella. Okay, so Legionella is this one. So we go back with the customer to then present this to them and make sure that those points are relevant. And we also want to understand, are they data points that could be have a process change if we identify that they're contributing to a high risk. Okay? So we go back and forth this way. And then, so we're going to come back with that information, and over the next couple of weeks, we're going to refine our model, and we're going to
Okay,
go
so you're
back to
using these data to refine your model, and then you're taking
exactly.
the model to the customer.
So we're not just a bunch of data engineers. We're water people, and we want to understand the water treatment process from the perspective of our customer, so that there's relevance to what we're doing, and they also are let's just say buy into what we're doing. So it's important for them. So when we go back with our next model, we'll demonstrate that relevance, and if we get a go ahead, then we output an offline model. Okay, 80% of the data.
Okay.
And then what we do is we add in the last 20%, and that last 20% will provide the precision rate, the accuracy rate of what we're outputting. So, in a lot of these sites, we're actually for COD and BOD, we've got an accuracy rate of well over 95%. So
Okay.
this sets us up for really interesting work in the future on helping them optimize their process, which at its core is about helping them stay compliant or become more compliant at a lower
Mhm.
by using a multidimensional approach, layered approach over and above what their current existing instrumentation is.
And you integrate this into the existing platform,
Yes, so
or
we're
also a new
platform
one?
agnostic. We don't sell platforms. I think it's one of the big things that we do is we're not a platform supplier. We're not going to go into a huge corporate industrial customer and say, "Hey, use our platform." No, we're providing a plug-in or a bolt-on to what they're currently using. So, and because we're in a world of data security right now, it's very, very important for us to do that. A lot of this
Yeah.
data doesn't go outside of their premise, other than what they're providing us with NDAs and everything. So what we're doing is we're bringing in a script for implementation into their own platform. And then what we do is we maintain it, and we go back many times every year to make sure that we can take additional data to do additional learning, additional machine learning. So, and the other part is because our data engine is what's proprietary, and the methodology that we use our data engine is customizable to customers. They provide us the data, we use our water engineers to input and develop the models. Once we provide the model itself, because it's so customized, we don't have any problems in giving them that transparency on those models. So we're not providing a black box. That's something we don't want to do. And that's something I think that has given the industry a bad rap, is that customers don't like buying black boxes.
True. 100%.
Our data engine is a black box, but that's our own internal process. We output to customers as
Yeah.
transparent.
Yeah. I've seen this quite often, that someone is want to sell. We take care about what is inside. You just deliver what's going in, what's going out,
Right.
but what is inside is on us. That doesn't work. People are interested to know what is going to do, or what is going to happen inside, right? So they are curious. I mean, I'm always saying we are engineers, right? We want to look into that. We want to understand, because we are responsible for that. So
Correct.
that's why I really like the approach that, providing also the script together with everything you have done, and combining these systems. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. And we're getting
Awesome.
really good. We're getting strong interest in the industry. We're onboarding customers. I'm sure there's going to be, unfortunately, the data security, there's a lot that we can't say who we're working with, but I can tell you that we're working with some major, major corporations. Some of the ones that I can say that we are working with, we're working with Procter and Gamble. We're working with, let's see, Tereos, which is a sugar beet processing company. We work with AGFA. So we do have a lot of corporate customers, and we're onboarding more and more as we move forward with this technology, and the response rate is very, very, very positive. So we're quite excited.